What's the difference between these two brandings? The first one is simple and minimal, while the second one feels more bold and a bit funky. Both of them are right in their own way, but there is a concept behind each of it, because branding isn't just about making things look pretty or expensive. It's the way people connect with the brand. But creating a brand identity usually takes a lot of time and resources. And if you're just starting out, you probably don't want to spend a fortune on it. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to create your complete brand identity and build everything from scratch. Now, every strong brand identity you see is built on 4 key pillars: a logo that is unique and easily recognizable, a font that is versatile and works across different platforms, a color palette that defines the personality of your brand, a visual style that connects to your audience across various communication channels. We will get into all of that, but first we need a brief. In your case, it would be a product, a service, or an entire industry you want to build around. For this example, I'm choosing a burger brand because it's one of the most popular fast foods in the USA, and honestly, something we all love. First, we need to create the guidelines and brand direction for our brand. Now, brand guidelines are a set of rules and standards that define how a brand should be visually and verbally presented across all platforms. For example, the brand direction of Amazon is shaped by its vision of accessibility. They want to deliver A to Z products across the globe, and that is something which reflects in their logo as well. First, we need a name and creative direction. And if you already have that, you can skip to this part. To come up with the name and direction, we'll take help from GPT, but getting a strong name takes some actual brainstorming. There's no single magic prompt that instantly gives you the perfect name. The quality of the output depends entirely on how clearly you understand your product and how well you communicate that. For example, since my brand is a burger brand, I want something inspired by a 90s American diner aesthetic. So instead of asking for random brand names, I'll include that text in the prompt. But I also want the brand to feel nostalgic, so I'll mention that too. By adding these details, we're guiding the output towards something that actually reflects the brand's personality instead of getting generic suggestions. As you can see, the first batch of names is decent, but most of them feel a little too long and not quite there yet. We want something crisp, catchy, and easy to remember. So instead of starting over, I'll refine it with a simple follow-up. Can you suggest short names under 7 alphabets? And now the results are much stronger. Instead of overly descriptive names, we're getting options that feel more brandable, memorable, and impactful. I especially like the name Red Bun because punchy names tend to stick better with consumers. And to be honest, Red Bun also sounds quite premium. Congratulations, we just named our burger brand. And now it's time to move on to the first step, which is generating a cool logo. Before designing the logo, it's always helpful to have the mood board. If you already have one, that's great. If not, you can easily create one using Pinterest by collecting inspiration that matches your brand style. If you're not sure what direction to take, you can also ask ChatGPT to suggest logo concepts based on your brand. For example, you can say, suggest 5 different logo concepts aligned with our brand name and direction. It would then give you 4 to 5 different creative directions to explore. Out of those concepts, I feel the second and fourth ideas look the strongest. So instead of trying everything, I'll ask ChatGPT to explore further around those specific concepts. For example, I can ask it to write prompts with 3 different approaches for each concept, giving me multiple styles to test while still staying within the direction I already like. This is a much better approach because now the output is based on ideas you've already shortlisted, instead of random generations. Once the prompts are ready, head over to Magic Hour and test them one by one to see which style gives you the best result. The good part is that you can generate multiple versions simultaneously in Magic Hour, making the process much faster. As you can see now, we have multiple versions ready for our logo. Now we are going to compare them one by one to judge which one is the best. For the second concept, it generated 3 versions, but all of them felt a bit generic and didn't really match the vibe of the name. So I am going to skip them. Now we are left with our red flame version. This one is decent, but the color combination isn't very satisfying. We want something that maintains a more friendly and inviting vibe. These two don't look that great, honestly, so we'll just simply skip them. Okay, this one looks perfect. Unlike the other ones, the shape of the fire is well balanced and visually appealing. The composition feels strong and everything comes together nicely, so this can be our final reference image. Once we have reached our reference image, we are ready to give it the final touch. We'll place that image in the reference section and tweak it accordingly. For example, I want the typography to feel more textured and retro. I also want to experiment with adding an ESTD year to give the brand a more premium and established vibe. It has added some texture, but the ESTD part is still not appropriate. So this time I am going to ask it to use handwritten fonts. I also want some more texture in the fire part to check how it becomes. As you can see, it gave me a handwritten font, but it's even worse than the previous one. Also, I feel like the texture in the fire looks a bit dry, so we need to tweak it a bit. This time, I want to switch to an all cap style and improve the fire texture just to see how it looks. By making these small adjustments, we can better control the final outcome. And with that, we finally have a logo that perfectly aligns with our brand. Once we finalize our logo, the next step is to create our brand guidelines like color palette and typography. For this, we'll use the logo as a reference image in GPT and add the key details from the brand direction we like, so everything stays consistent. GPT can help pull details like the color codes and text style from the logo. Now, all you have to do is copy the color palette prompt into Magic Hour, and it will generate a color palette board like this. Then, do the same for the typography prompt. Upload the same logo as reference, and it'll generate a typography board like this. It clearly defines the primary heading, secondary heading, and every font style with precise details. Now that we've created our logo, color palette board, and typography board, we're all set to move on to product photography. In branding, product photography is used to showcase a brand's identity through relatable product. For Red Bun, since it's a burger brand, we can use burgers, cold drinks, and fries to highlight how well our branding comes together. Our aim here is to generate mockups so we can see how the logo translates across different platforms. We can evaluate how effective our concept really is. And to do this, you can use your brand guidelines to create a detailed prompt with GPT. In our case, we simply copy-paste this prompt into Magic Hour, upload our final logo as the reference image, and generate the mockup board. As you can see, it's a decent mockup of a wrapped burger, fry carton, customized takeaway bag, and a Coke container, but we can tweak it a bit. For example, in the fry carton, I was expecting it to have fries. I mean, if it's empty, it doesn't make any sense. More importantly, in order to use these for product photography, we have to separate them. So we will use this mockup as a reference image and separate it one by one using simple edit prompts. I want only the top view of the burger wrap. I want only the front view of the fries packaging. I want only the front view of the soda cup. I want only 3/4 of a view of the takeaway bag. With simple one-line prompts, we have successfully separated our products, and now we've reached the final step of product photography. This can be considered your final mock-up, showing how your brand will appear in ads or on social media grids. For this, you need some strong positioning ideas, and you can use GPT to generate prompts for them. For example, my first idea is a Polaroid-style photo of a couple holding Red Bun products. I'll provide rough details to GPT, and it generates a crisp prompt. I'm going to use our logo and soda cup as a reference image, and you can see how beautifully it generates the final image. My second idea is a dinner scene where 4 young adults are having beers with multiple Red Bun products placed on the table, featuring repeating black Red Bun typography. See, I will upload the Red Bun logo on GPT and ask it to give me a detailed prompt for my product photography. I'll tweak it a bit. For example, I want to maintain that 90s retro aesthetic and add some condensation on the beer. By adding more details, you can improve your prompt, and like this image, you can generate the best version of your product photography. With different ideas, you can generate multiple versions of your product photography like this. Sometimes the results might look a bit absurd, and that's completely fine. The more you experiment, the better your outputs will get. And that's the whole process, from creating your brand identity to turning it into realistic product photography using AI. The goal is not perfection in the first try, but it's exploration. Because in branding, the strongest ideas often come from refinement. And if you're doing this yourself, use Magic Hour. It is one of the best tools because it gives you access to all the major AI models in one place. Use the code MAGICHOUR10 to get 10% off any plan. Subscribe to our channel, and in the next video, I'll show you how to start AI side hustles and potentially earn up to $10,000. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.